I'd like to hear a little bit about what brought y'all in here today to see me.
You want to start? Or?
All right, well, my daughter, Kristen, from a previous relationship. She came home too late for Kelly's liking, after the prom. And the main focus of the disagreement is that I guess Kelly didn't feel that I backed her on some disciplinary issues or how we dealt with it. And,
I think that was one of the final things. We've been married 5 years now. Kristen's been living with us. Her mother sees her intermittently.
Okay.
which is a good thing, that she not see Kristen so much.
Right. So we try to build a stable home for her. And Steele works a lot, and I work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she is 15 now and wanting more of her own independence, as you can imagine, which is fine, and we try to nurture that on the one hand, but on the other hand, we have limits, and we do have limits together. As a united front, we do have limits. A couple weeks ago was prom, and Steele was working, and we didn't really talk about a final curfew. So I said, all right, 1:30, somewhere in there. Well, she doesn't come home until 5 in the morning, and neither one of us slept.
Okay. You were both home by then,
Yes.
and up worrying,
On and off,
anxious.
trying to yes, right. We kind of knew where she was, but there was no call. We didn't, nothing. So rather than go out and track her down and having a whole embarrassing situation, we just worried.
Okay.
And I worry. I suppose there was a certain level of concern, but basically, I know my daughter. I trust my daughter. I don't trust her implicitly. I'm not that kind of fool. 15 years old, you can make all the decisions you want. But she was with a good group of kids, and they weren't. I mean, when she finally did get home, she wasn't stoned, she wasn't drunk, and she wasn't messed up in any way. She'd just been having a good time. So part of my reaction to all this is that it's not so much "see, I told you so," but it's more of a I'm glad you had a good time, honey. And from that standpoint, it wasn't a "thank God you're alive." It was more of a you see, we just trust her to make good decisions. We've raised her to a point that she can make certain decisions, and this is not an ongoing event.
Okay.
I think the issue is, and Kelly, I don't want to talk for you, but I think the issue is that she set a limit, and and Kristen didn't follow it.
And it didn't bother her, and it bothered me that she kind of threw it in my face, not necessarily by saying, "Ha, see, it's not a problem with Dad," but that was the whole tone of the whole thing.
All right. So what I'm hearing is you basically believing that this is not a huge deal from your perspective as father, and that it warrants some attention, but not a huge deal. You're feeling like there's really an underlying issue here that's being minimized by your husband. Is this an ongoing issue
Well,
for you
that's
guys,
the
or?
thing. It's becoming a little more. She's trying to play both ends against each other,
Okay.
and every once in a while now it's starting to come out. Well, you're not my mother,
Okay.
and it's painful. Yes, of course I'm not her mother, and I'm not trying to replace her mother. But on the other hand, basically I am her mother, and
I support you in that. That.
I know,
If she
but it
says
seems
that
like
to
now
you-
she's getting a little older, and you're giving a little more freedom, and you're letting her be a little more mouthy just because it's going through these growing things, and
And you're frustrated with the situation. Even hearing you talk about it now, you sound very frustrated.
yes,
And maybe even to the point of being overwhelmed by it.
I
at
do feel
times.
overwhelmed because I am the one taking care of her most of the time. He works more than I do. I work at a bank. We're both professional, but I have more set hours. He's in sales. It goes, I gotta go. I gotta get out of town, which is fine. I understand that, but
I don't mean to shift it, but she brings that up. I'm just doing what the job requires.
Okay.
I'm not the kind of guy that says, "Hey, I'm in sales, so I got to be on the golf course."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm in sales, so that means I got to take my clients to this nightclub. And you know that I'm not like that.
I know.
I'm doing what I need to do to provide the way that we want to live. And
It sounds
I'm
like
not
you're
trying to
working.
shift responsibility to her.
Right. It sounds like you're working hard to communicate to her that you want to support her, that you want to be a team and be together on whether it's work or whether it's your daughter. Is that
Right,
what
and
you're trying to say here?
And so basically, with this thing with the prom, I felt she should have been grounded for disobeying the curfew.
Okay.
And he thought,
I thought, so that we can,
all right, you speak for yourself.
thank you. I thought that this is a once or twice in a lifetime event.